Welcome back, Fort McMurray. This is Go On Shot TV, and I'm Doug Roxburgh. We've been inactive for about 4 months on Go because we've been running the special Fort McMurray Strong, giving you your recovery updates. Those updates won't go away. We're just putting them back where they belong, back on Go. Updates like what's happening just to my left as $500,000 worth of sporting equipment was graciously donated from Edmonton to Fort McMurray to help kids get back involved with sport to cover their losses during the last 4 months. We also have updates when it comes to schools because yes, students were displaced in Beacon Hill and Abbotsand, and that's why we find out where they're going to school, and that happens on this episode of Go. But next, let's focus back on the $500,000 that was just donated for kids in sport. With Sheldon Olexon from Sports Central in Edmonton, you decided to come up to Fort McMurray, $500,000 in hand, not in cash, but in sports equipment for kids.
Yes.
That is a touching moment here in Fort McMurray.
It is, and I hope that the community is really thrilled to receive this, and that the kids that really need this equipment get it into their hands so that they can get active and get playing and get healing from the disaster that happened in this community.
Getting $500,000 in sporting equipment doesn't just happen overnight. This was months in the making, isn't that right, Sheldon?
That's right, our campaign was launched in May, and we've been gathering equipment with the help of manufacturers and individuals who have brought stuff to our depot in Edmonton. And the equipment's flowed in, and we've been storing it in sea cans, and just got loaded yesterday onto this 53-foot trailer that Rosano Transport has donated our use of today.
Of course, there is always a why. The why is because of the wildfires that happened in early May, but is there a deeper meaning to why this kind of came together, Sheldon?
Well, Sports Central has been around for 25 years. We're celebrating our 25th anniversary in November, and we are just really believers in the power of sport to transform lives and to help develop young people. Some of the best employees are people who have played sports. You learn a lot of life lessons through sports that other people who don't play them don't learn till later on in life.
Well, thank you very much, Sheldon. We appreciate you joining us here on Shot TV. We appreciate you coming coming up from Edmonton to Fort McMurray
Yes.
with this equipment for these kids in football, baseball, hockey. I mean, these kids are going to get a leg up.
Right.
Also, you talked about the development of kids. We also talk about the development of mental health.
Yes.
Well, Craig Momney actually speaks with us and speaks to the local school boards about mental health in schools. Inside the warehouse with Travin Galanzowski from the Fort McMurray Minor Hockey Association, and I don't know, just looking behind us, $500,000 worth of sporting equipment, and it's a lot, isn't it?
Very overwhelming, yes.
Overwhelming is you're putting it lightly here,
Yeah.
Travis. I
Yeah.
mean, this is heart-wrenching at the same time, isn't it?
Unloading it with the forklift, I was like, are we empty yet? Are we empty yet? And it kept coming out and coming out. This is crazy.
I know you have a little bit of a plan in place, but this is going to needy families that need to get their kids back involved in sport, isn't it?
Absolutely. There's like, we talked about a couple of different immediate need, and then we talked about medium and long-term need. Immediate need is the fire victims, right? The people who have lost their homes or underinsured or not insured. That's the immediate. Then, of course, we're talking about the financial hardship. People lost their jobs throughout the wildfire, and you know, there's an immediate need. And then more long-term is, you know, putting kids back on the fields and into the arenas and onto ball diamonds that perhaps can't afford it, can't afford registration, can't afford equipment. There's two major barriers to putting kids into sport these days, and this is going to take care of one of those needs. We're working with Jumpstart, we're working with Kids Sport. You know, minor hockey's got a fund set aside for financial assistance. I know minor ball's got the same. I think all minor sports have got some form of financial help. So coupling that with this equipment, the idea is to get kids out, and that's the long-term goal of this whole project.
And this is just one of the donations that's happening in Fort McMurray as we speak. There's more coming in for more organizations right across the city. This is just important for kids to get involved back in sport, and it's actually very nice to see, especially for those that have lost their houses. We spoke earlier with the Catholic School Board on how they're dealing with kids in Avocen and Beacon Hill. Let's find out what the public schools are doing for kids in that area as well. You know, it's nice to be back on Go on Shaw TV. And it's also nice to see this equipment. Look at football equipment, golf equipment, more boxes. I mean, it just kept coming. And then, of course, our bread and butter. We're in Canada, hockey equipment. $500,000 worth donated for Fort McMurray to help get kids back involved in sport, because we know what happened, and we also know there's still some needy families here in the area. We still have your updates on recovery. It will just be happening on Go and not on Fort McMurray Strong anymore. I'm Doug Roxburgh, and like I said, it's just good to be back, Fort McMurray.